San Francisco is hosting a number of world leaders, dignitaries and visitors for the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit, or the APEC. It is the biggest gathering of world leaders in the city since 1945 UN Conference on International Organizations. US President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris hosted reception of the summit and addressed the leaders attending, focusing on the security and prosperity of the Indo-Pacific. Let's quickly listen in to what they had to say.
Busy days ahead of us. The challenges before us today are unlike those faced by previous groups of APEC leaders. How we're going to harness the potential of artificial intelligence to lift up the world and lives while minimizing the risks and safety concerns that it presents. Will we act with the speed and urgency necessary to dramatically curb carbon emissions and avert the climate catastrophe that threatens us all? Can we build a supply chains that are more resilient, more secure in the face of threats like pandemics and natural disasters, and that will form a strong foundation for a clean economy for tomorrow? Folks, challenges may be different, but our strongest tools to meet those challenges remain the same as they were for our first APEC Leaders Summit.
Speaker Emerita Pelosi, and the many friends and leaders who are here. It is an honor on behalf of Doug and myself to welcome APEC to our home state of California. So the United States is a proud Pacific power, and the Indo-Pacific is critical to the security and prosperity of the American people. It is for that reason that President Joe Biden and I have strengthened our alliances and partnerships, our multilateral relationships in the region.
To give us more on this summit is my colleague Brian Thomas. Brian, over to you. What more can you share with our viewers?
Well, Asavari, during the reception of the APEC leaders, Vice President Kamala Harris, expressed pride in welcoming the APEC to their home state of California. She even, emphasized the United States' identity as a Pacific power and even underscored the vital role of the Indo-Pacific in ensuring the security and even the prosperity for the American people. Harris also elaborated on the commitment of President Joe Biden and her to, fortify alliances, partnerships and multilateral relationships within the region, and all with the overarching goal of advancing a free and open Indo-Pacific. And in her address also, Vice President Harris conveyed the honor felt by the United States in hosting the APEC gathering, emphasizing the significance of the Indo-Pacific region and the administration's strategic priorities. And the choice of words also, reflected a strong sense of commitment to strengthening diplomatic ties and, fostering cooperation to address these shared challenges. And furthermore, also, she highlighted the cooperative efforts undertaken by the Biden administration to solidify relationships within the Indo-Pacific, and the mention of strengthening alliances and even partnerships definitely underscored a collaborative approach to regional affairs, emphasizing the importance of collective action in maintaining stability and promoting prosperity. And she even remarked that the APEC reception conveyed a broader narrative of the United States that is actively engaging with the nations of the Indo-Pacific, and this emphasized on a free and open Indo-Pacific echoed the administration's dedication to promote democratic values and ensuring a secure and accessible environment for economic growth in the region. Yes, sir.
Right, absolutely, Brian. With that, I'd like to thank you for joining in and sharing those details. Meanwhile, we're also being joined by Ambassador Mahesh Sachdeva. He's a former diplomat. Good morning, sir, and thank you so much for joining in on NewsX. Now, the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit is known to be the biggest gathering of world leaders in the city since the 1945 UN Conference on International Organizations. So, how will this summit improve dialogue and relations?
I think the summit itself is an indication of improved dialogue and consultation. You'd recall, Ms. Jindal, that for past 3 or 4 years, China and U.S. have been talking at each other and not with each other. These two are the putative 640-pound gorillas in the room, and without which other 19 members of APEC were hamstrung. They could do nothing. So now that the two sides are talking to each other, with the summit having taken place for 4 hours yesterday between Chinese president and the US president, the signs are that there's a gradual hesitant thaw between the two sides. And that augurs well for APEC, that augurs well with other associate bodies such as Transatlantic Trade Partnership, etc., etc. And I think this leads to lower geopolitical tensions, particularly in the Taiwan Strait and South China Sea. And also it removes the roadblock to greater economic cooperation. It's a long road. The issues that divide China and the United States are fundamental. They're not going to go away with smiles and handshakes and summits. But a process of dialogue between the two militaries at the level of Defense Secretary and the Chinese Defense Minister, who's yet to be appointed, have begun. So that should be a good augury for the future.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.